three were dominant. The Hausas, most numerous, Muslims in the north. Medieval, lagging behind the others in education and commerce. The Yorubas in the west, animists and Christians, the first educated. And the Igbos in the east, where Christianity is now strongest.
Some say the Igbos were the most backward.
Was it appropriate that he be likened to the Jew?
If we are to be likened to the Jews as we like to be, it means we are a chosen people. We are the people with the grace of God in Nigeria.
In conditions as unchanging as possible. They were, therefore, against the change and progress that would be caused by mass education. To them, Western education was dangerous, and they confined it to the elites. It was not surprising that by the time of Nigeria's independence in 1960, the North had only 41 secondary schools, as against the 842 secondary schools in the South. In contrast to the North, the South, invaded by missionaries, developed an avid thirst for education in all its forms. In the decades from colonization to independence, the difference in the attitudes and values between the North and South and the educational and technological gap became very wide. The British also encouraged competition among the ethnic groups, believing it made ruling easier. This divide and rule approach would have long-lasting consequences. By the 1940s and 1950s, the idea of independence spread across Africa. But Nigeria's major ethnic groups did not agree on several things: how fast it should come, how power should be shared, and what Nigeria should look like after independence. The North took on a cautious and slow attitude. The Northern leadership feared losing political dominance, which had been bestowed on them by the British, if independence came too soon. They worried that the more Western-educated South would take over national politics. Though the West was in favor of immediate independence, the Yoruba elite wanted strong regional autonomy after it. The East was strongly pro-independence.
Well, the Igbos are more or less the type of people whose desire is mainly to dominate everybody. If they go to a village, to a town, they want to monopolize everything in that area. If you put them in a labor camp as a laborer, within a year they will try to emerge as headman of that camp, and so on. Well, in the past, our people were not alive to their responsibilities, because you can see from our northernization policy that in 1952, when I came here, there weren't 10 northerners in our civil service here. Then I tried to have it northernized, and now all important posts are being held by northerners.
These political rivalries, cultural differences, and economic tensions created resentments that would later explode into violence. Nigeria's first military coup took place on January 15, 1966. A small group of junior army officers, mostly of Igbo origin, sought to overthrow what they saw as a corrupt government. Led by the idealistic Major Chukwuma Nziogu, an Igbo who had lived all his life in the north, the coup plotters assassinated several northern and western political leaders, including the Sardauna of Sokoto, Sir Ahmadu Bello and his wife, the Prime Minister, Sir Tafawa Balewa, the Premier of the Western Region, Ladoke Akintola, the Finance Minister, Chief Okoti Ebo, a Midwesterner, the Western Commanding Officer of the 1st Brigade, Brigadier Ademolegun. Although the coup had a sprinkle of participation by other ethnic groups, many believed it was an Igbo plot to dominate Nigeria. Conveniently, the President of the Federation, Sir Nnamdi Azikiwe, an Igbo, was on vacation, and only 2 Igbo officers were killed. The coup failed. But Major General Johnson Aguiyi Ironsi, an Igbo officer who was not part of the coup and was instrumental in foiling it, became head of state. Ironsi's regime was anything but pro-Igbo. His 9-man Supreme Military Council had only one other Igbo apart from himself, and his army chief of staff and right-hand man was Lieutenant Colonel Yakubu Gowon, a northerner. Ironsi, thinking that rigid adherence to regionalism was a problem, attempted to unify Nigeria by ending the federal system. This decision, many Northerners interpreted as a further attempt at domination by the Igbos. Because unification seemed particularly advantageous to it was helping counter Soviet influence. On the Biafran side, three countries played notable roles: France, China, and Israel. France supported Biafra largely due to economic and geopolitical considerations. French oil companies also had in the southeast. One of the final operations was Operation Tailwind, a major Nigerian offensive to break the last Biafran strongholds. The Biafran army, by this time, exhausted and poorly supplied, could not hold out. In the second week of January 1970, Biafra gave up. Ojukwu departed into exile in the Republic of Ivory Coast, and Major General Philip Effiong announced the end of the conflict and negotiated the terms of surrender. Biafra officially surrendered to Nigeria on the 15th of January 1970. Gowon declared a policy of no victor, no vanquished, and promised reconciliation, reconstruction, and reintegration for the